Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and today's live stream we talk about Bitcoin like we normally do. Is Bitcoin actually going to go to 60K? Like we've been thinking about it going down to that price level, or at least to revisit, see if there's actually support down there. We've been thinking about this for like the past week now, because Bitcoin's been making lower highs here in the daily time frame. Ever since it made the high here on February 8th. We got up to like 72K. We just haven't really been able to get back up to that level here. And, you know, now we're starting to make almost like a potential bear flag. You know, the bears can make a case here that we're about to make a bear flag and probably go down to lower prices again. And that has me a little bit worried here for Bitcoin and crypto. Okay. But I don't know. Could we get some positive news? There might be, for tomorrow, there might be a ruling on the Trump tariffs. They might actually rule those tariffs illegal, and what does that do for the market? Well, probably means probably means that the costs of all those increased tariffs won't be affecting those companies anymore, and the companies that have been passing those costs down to the consumers, the consumer doesn't have to pay for those tariffs anymore. So maybe maybe people will have a little bit more money to spend in the next few days, few weeks, few months if they rule those tariffs illegal. I'm not trying to get political, but I think it would benefit short-term wise the markets here, and it would probably cause the price of Bitcoin to go up as well as the other cryptocurrencies, because we all know what the tariffs did to us when they first came out in April last year. The markets ended up dumping on us, and we saw Bitcoin go to like what, 74K at one point last year, until Donald Trump said, actually, just kidding, we're going to give a 90-day pause on tariffs, and the markets responded accordingly, and we saw crypto and stocks go up in the month of April and May of last year. If we get those tariffs banned tomorrow, if they say that those tariffs are illegal, then maybe we actually get a jump up here in price on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin does jump up to higher prices, the first order of business is to get above this 21 EMA, above us at 70,900. That's that white line right there. But then the next order of business is to reclaim the 80K level here, where we saw Bitcoin bouncing in between 84 and 87K. 87K is a pretty important support level. 87,500 is a level that I think Bitcoin needs to recapture for us to get to continue to be more bullish here on Bitcoin. We do have a 50-day moving average, this green line, which could act as resistance at 86K as of now. But I think anywhere between 84 to 87K is the sweet spot for upside potential here for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to cast some bids and actually go up to higher prices. Now, is Bitcoin going to actually go up to higher prices here? We got to look at the MACD, see what that looks like. I mean, we look at the indicators here, but any market-driven news like tariffs, like potential conflict in the Middle East could just throw all this out the door. But if there is no ruling on tariffs tomorrow, and if there is no potential conflict in the Middle East, then we have to go based on what we see here on the charts. And on the charts here on the MACD indicator, we do see that there is a trend for Bitcoin to go up to higher prices here, because we do see that the selling pressure has been dying down and the buying pressure is starting to come in here in the daily time frame, and we see a MACD crossover to the upside. So it leads me to believe that Bitcoin should go up to higher prices here. Okay. And then here on the market cipher B indicator here, it's almost telling the same story as the MACD indicator here, where money flow has been in negative, and it's been in the negative since the last week of January. And we know that February was a bad month for Bitcoin, because we've actually seen Bitcoin go down to 60K. But the money flow has been steadily increasing here. Now it's kind of like flatlining a little bit, so this is a little bit of pause for concern here, that Bitcoin is not getting the push that it needs to go to higher prices here, because the money flow is starting to flatten out a little bit. And then I was worried here on Tuesday that we saw a red sell dot come in, but then right now we just got a green buy dot that came in here on Thursday, and it leads me to believe that Bitcoin could go up to higher prices. We just got to start seeing that here on the money flow, and of course we got to see that reflect itself with higher prices on Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin trading at 66,990. It's at a level where we already marked this on the chart here at 67K. 67,200 was supposed to be a support level, It tried to act as support here on Tuesday, but then we fell through it here yesterday. And now here we are trying to get back up to 67K and reclaim it, okay? Now the reason why I got 67K as an important level here is because if I throw in the VRVP indicator, you'll see that there's high volume here at 67K. You see that there's a high volume node here at 67K. But even if you didn't have the VRVP indicator, you can just look left and see that there is previous support here at 67K, okay? 67K is an area that we were trading at back here in October of 2024. And yeah, basically October 2024 and November 2024, we actually came down and tested 67K, or roughly that area. We came down into this area on November 4th, right before I believe Donald Trump got elected. So 67K, important area. A very important area for us to reclaim as support. But since we're slightly below it, it's kind of acting as resistance right now. So if we can punch past that, then we'll probably see maybe 69K or 70K come up in deck. And of course, we gotta get past this 21 EMA. This 21 EMA sitting at 70,900 as of now. Could act as resistance if we do get up to that price. So, you know, we're not gonna be like, you know, celebrating 70K and 71K until we get it past this 21 EMA and do it in a convincing fashion where we can actually, you know, see some follow through where we get up to like the 80K area. Okay, but there's really, I don't really see that much resistance. I mean, just let me look at the VRVP indicator one more time here. Okay, there might be something here at 78K because you see some little bit sideways trading here at 78K. Maybe 78K could act as resistance. But I think, yeah, if you could push past this 21-day EMA and actually get above it, then it could be, we could be off to the races here on Bitcoin going up to higher prices here. Okay. Let's see. I got a good amount of people that showed up here. Let me check the chat here, see what you guys are saying here on TikTok chat. We got Mike saying, bro, it's going to 54K. I haven't even talked about the downside targets. I was given the bullish case there on Bitcoin only because, you know, I saw the trend. The MACD indicator was showing that Bitcoin wants to go up to higher prices. But, you know, something bad could happen tomorrow. You know, something bad could happen on Saturday where we see, you know, a MACD cross over to the downside and we start seeing selling pressure coming in. And then, yeah, maybe we can start talking about, you know, Bitcoin going to 54K. Let's see. We got Crazy Rider saying, is Hood stock going to continue to decline? Is that a request for Hood? I believe that's Robinhood that you want me to take a look at. I'll take a look at Robinhood if that's a request there. But I just want to finish up on Bitcoin because I did not give the downside targets here for Bitcoin, but I will give the downside targets here because we do have some people here that believe that Bitcoin's going to go to 50K. And you know what? I'm right there with you. I actually thought Bitcoin was going to go to 50K after it went down to 60K, but we had a little bit of a relief rally the last couple of weeks here. Binance Nice says there are reports of strikes going on in Iran. Yeah, there's been reports of strikes in Iran. It's like the past week or two. I'm not sure if they're actually airstrikes, but I've heard of like there's been like sabotage. I think the CIA or maybe Israel is getting involved with doing some work on the ground behind the scenes here, some clandestine operations. But until we actually hear like, you know, like a rocket or a missile coming from a U.S. airplane or a U.S. warship actually hit Iran, I think it's just, you know, right now it's like, how did that happen? Wow. I mean, Iran is not even saying that it's America that's striking them. They're saying it's just gas leaks. Like they're having problems with, you know, gas explosions. And it's just, I mean, we all kind of know like this is more than just gas explosions. But yeah, there's they're trying to cover up and save face, and also the United States is not really saying it if it's them or somebody else. So we really don't know. But anyways, let's get back to the charts here. So we did have some people here that think that Bitcoin could go to like 50K, and I did mark on the chart here 51,976. If you see that red number there, let me just show you here how I can get that number to show up at least twice here. And if I do a little you know, flagpole here, and this is going to end up possibly being a bear flag here for Bitcoin. All right, do I really need to draw out the entire flag? I'll just probably draw out like we got like a little bit of a pennant going on here. Okay, But anyways, you got like your bearish pennant here, and you got your flagpole, and you just take the measure move from the flagpole. You put it to like where Bitcoin could probably break down here out of 67K roughly. And it's showing, oof, man, even further than that. We're gonna go further down than 51K. This is showing that we could see Bitcoin come down to like 38K. I've heard of people say that Bitcoin could go to 38 or 37K, but yeah, this measured move is taking us below 40K here. Okay. And it all depends on where you draw the actual flagpole. Let's see if let me just readjust this. If I think I took it from here to here, right? I gotta readjust this. So if I took this down from the initial move down like that, and if we were to continue the trend on down with this flagpole, and we were to break out here at 67K, yeah, I mean it still shows 38K. It still shows that we could come down to 38K roughly. Okay. But let me go ahead and get rid of that for now. You got the idea with that, potential bear flag breaking down here for Bitcoin. If I turn on the VRVP indicator and I zoom out and I show you the data going all the way back to like, August of 2023, June of 2023, you can see that there's some high volume nodes here on the VRVP indicator here. And right now we're currently trading at 67K. Support could come in at 63K. That's another area to look out for before we actually hit 60K. And then there's also another high volume node here at 51,900 or 52K. You can see there's a little bit of volume there, and that's from that sideways trading that we did back here in February of 2024. And then there's also another high volume node here at 43K. Those are the levels that I'm actually looking for to the downside. If Bitcoin's going to be bearish, I'm looking for 52K and basically 43K. And yeah, I mean, is there anything down here at 37, 38? Yeah, there is. There's a little bit of volume here at 37K as well, okay? Also, just to keep you guys aware of what's going on here with Bitcoin, if I go into I believe the monthly chart here, and I turn on the moving averages here, the 50 moving average, you'll see that there is a 50 simple moving average on the monthly time frame that shows that we could get support for Bitcoin at 37K. So, a lot of people have been talking about 37K. I've been thinking like 43K is an area that I'm looking for, only because it comes before 37K and it is also high volume there at 43K. But yeah, I mean, levels to look for to the downside is like 37, 43, and 52K. All right. So those are your downside targets. So those are the downside targets that I can see with Bitcoin. Let's move on and take a look at Robinhood here for one of the requests that we got. And I think the question was, is Robinhood done going down yet? And we're just looking at Robinhood on the monthly time frame. You can see that Robinhood's been having some bad months here. Ever since like November of last year, you've been going down 12% that month. Then you went down 12% again in December, another 12% here in January, and oh my god, down 23, almost 24% here the month of February. We're not even done with February yet. But look at this, look what Robinhood shows here on the monthly time frame. You do got a 21 exponential moving average that's showing that there should be support at $60. And looks like we did come down to $70 here at one point. So we're getting close to seeing some support here on Robinhood. Let's go into the normal time frames that we normally take a look at. And that's the daily time frame here. Daily time frame here for Robinhood shows that Robinhood, of course, has been going down since October of last year. Making lower highs, lower lows. Try to get some support off the 100-day moving average, which is this blue line here. Try it again here in December, and then you lost it here in January. And then, the 200-day moving average was possibly going to act as support, but it only acted as support for like one day here in January, and then we lost that. And this was like the nail in the coffin here for Robinhood. You're below the 200-day moving average, this red line. You're now in bear market, all right? I mean, some people would call a bear market like being down below 20% from your all-time high or the high for the year. We're clearly below the all-time high or the high for the year. The high for the year last year was like $153. You're almost like a 50% haircut. You're clearly in a bear market. But another thing that's not good to see is going below the 200-day moving average. That's another criteria for me to consider an asset to be in a bear market. you're below the 200-day moving average. You need to get above that 200-day moving average for me to be like, all right, maybe we can be bullish again here on Robinhood. But clearly, you can be bearish on this asset until it starts showing you that there's a possibility of it going up to higher prices here. Okay, and I think, you know, initially, you know, we're gonna have some problems with this white line here. This is the 21 exponential moving average, currently sitting at $89.15. You need to get above $89.15 for me to be bullish here on Robinhood. Okay, or at least start to be, you know, a little bit more bullish. I would be actually bullishly biased on this stock until you get above the red line. But I will know that there's some hope here if we can get above this white line here, this 21 EMA at $89.15. If you can do that, then we'll try to see if we can make our way back up to this red line at $106. That's your 200-day moving average. Okay, then you can be more bullish here, and then this could be like one bad dream here, one big bad dream, and then we could hopefully forget about this. But what I do see here with Robinhood that kind of gives me a little pause for like maybe there might be a chance that we could be bottoming out or the bleeding might be stopping here is there looks like there's a potential double bottom here at like $71.87 and yeah, $70.43 here on February 12th. The bottoms have to be within 1 to 3% away from each other for it to be a double bottom, and I believe that's, you know, within 1 to 3%. Let me just quickly measure that out here. So we got the bottom here, and then another bottom here, and that's within, yeah, 2.9%. That's within, you know, the 1 to 3% rule for a double bottom. So if this is a double bottom, right, then you got to measure the top in between the two bottoms, okay, and that gives you the measure move as to like how this could play out to the upside here. And you take that measure move and you put it on top of the top in between the two bottoms here, and it's showing that we could get up to like $108 as a measured move, that blue number right there. And that would put you above the 200-day moving average. So I think, you know, we could be bottoming out here. But let me just double check to see if that's playing out here with the RSI. Okay, that's the relative strength index here. Are we getting some bullish divergence showing up here on Robinhood? It looks like you had on the RSI here, if you see this red line right here, we came down to like 14.76. That's the red number right there. 14.76 here on February 5th, and then the RSI here on February 12th was 26.4. Guess what, guys? You have potential bullish divergence here. Let me just adjust this here. Let me get rid of that for now. Alright, let's see. My chart's a little bit messed up here. But yeah, you got basically a higher low, right? Higher low here on the RSI, okay? However, you made lower lows here on the price. For those who don't know, or who are new to trading and investing, or new to charting and looking at the charts here, this is bullish divergence, okay? This is showing that the buyers are actually stepping in as the price goes lower. The sellers aren't able to push the price down as vigorous as they did back here on February 5th. So buyers are showing up here to buy Robinhood. So maybe Robinhood could be bottoming out here. Might be worth getting into. Let me look at one more thing here. I'm gonna look at the VRVP indicator, see what the resistance levels might be using the VRVP indicator. We do have the VRVP indicator here off to the right. You can see that there's volume here at $75, which is where we're currently at. Going up to higher prices, there's a little bit of volume here. Could be some resistance at $83, but I would expect more resistance here at $91 up to like $94 here. You got a relatively high volume here, and then of course the highest volume node is going to be this blue line here sitting at $105. $105, $106. I think the area where you should take some profit on Robinhood, because you just don't know, are we going to get rejected when we get up to that level there because of the high volume node there? But also you got the 200-day moving average that could act as rejection, a resistance, and it could cause rejection here at $105, $106. So that's where I would try to take some profit if you have profit, or try to de-risk and sell your Robinhood stock here. All right, we got Matty Ghost in the chat. Good to see you, Matty Ghost, here on YouTube. And thank you, Lao100, for following me here on TikTok. All right, let me see. Die Successful said, what about Iran? We already talked about Iran earlier. That could cause a drop in the markets here, right? Let's go back to Bitcoin again. We'll see how Bitcoin reacted when we had problems in the Middle East and problems with Iran last year. Okay, I believe that occurred on Sunday, June 22nd. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but you can see like leading up to the events in the Middle East back here in June of last year, we were already in a downtrend on Bitcoin. But you can see like here on Thursday, June 19th, we had a red day. June 20th, red day. Saturday, June 21st, another red day on Bitcoin. And then of course, I believe the strike occurred on Saturday night going into Sunday morning on June 22nd. And then that was also another red day here for Bitcoin, where Bitcoin dropped down to as low as 98K. But it was just a one and done deal. And then of course on Monday, we saw Bitcoin jump up 4% and get as high as like 106K after we already seen it go as low as 98K the day before. So if it's a one and done deal with the events in the Middle East and Iran, then maybe we could get a bullish engulfing candle that sends Bitcoin to higher prices here. But I keep hearing reports and stories that they're building up. They got more airplanes and warships than they did last year, and it's almost at the same level as what they had when they did the invasion in Iraq in like 2003. So they just don't have, the troops and Marines that they had for that invasion. But it's looking like it's going to be sustained. It's going to be more than just a one and done deal. So, I'm not saying that history is going to repeat itself. But, if it ends up being a one and done deal, then it could be a really bad day when it does happen. But we could get a bullish engulfing candle. However, if it's a sustained operation, then the markets might not like that, especially if they do that this weekend going into next week. We could end up having a bad week in the markets, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will not be immune to that. What I think would benefit, and you could already see that happening right now, is the price of oil is going to be going up if we start seeing some action in the Middle East. You can see that right now the price of oil is at $66.63. We actually got up as high as $66.98. We almost hit $67 a barrel here on oil. But let's take a look at how oil reacted when we had the events in the Middle East from like last year. And I believe that was what, June 22nd. I got to look at that one more time here. June 22nd. I went back too far back there. But you can see, like, oil was showing like right before, like in the beginning of June, before they even struck on June 22nd. Oil was creeping up, and it got above its 200-day moving average, and then on June 22nd, right? Was it? Oh, right. Well, they weren't trading. The oil markets weren't trading on June 22nd because that was a Sunday. They don't trade on the weekends. But you can see here on Monday, we saw oil shoot up to $78 a barrel. And once we realized that was a one and done deal, then oil actually had a bearish engulfing candle here, brought us right back below the 200-day moving average. So, there could be some crazy volatility in the markets, especially with oil, and I think even including Bitcoin and the stock market. You'll see some crazy volatility in the markets after something like that happens, okay? But if it's a one and done deal, then, oil is probably not going to go up and stay up for too long. It will probably crash down like it did here last year if history repeats itself, right? But I'm just a little bit worried about it this time because it sounds like they don't want to do a one and done deal because they did that last year and it didn't really work. Iran is still being a problem for a lot of people here, and I think they would do sustained operations, and they've been talking about a regime change might be the solution here, so they might actually stay there until they get rid of the government in Iran. So if that's the case, and we start seeing Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but if they start closing up shipping oil out of the Persian Gulf, then we'll see oil price probably spike up. How high? I mean, that's anybody's guess here, but I know during the events and when Russia attacked Ukraine, we did see oil get as high as about what, $120 a barrel here. Could that be a possibility here? And they didn't even shut down like 20% of the world's oil, okay? But that was just back here in March of 2022. You know, about a month after Russia attacked Ukraine, we saw, you know, oil spike up to about $126 here. So maybe that could happen here with oil this time around. We could see maybe what, a double in price. We shall see. We shall see. But overall, the price of oil has been in a downtrend. So, you know, long-term wise, I mean, it's almost as if like the price of oil is going to try to fight its way to get up to higher prices here, because we've been in a downtrend for so long, and that only happens for so long before you start seeing an uptrend start showing up here in the charts. We got Duality C's in the chat here on YouTube. Good to see you, Duality C. Don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and share with your friends and family, anybody that you know that could benefit from this technical analysis here. I use a plethora of indicators here. I use the moving averages as like a 5 moving average strategy here. I actually only do four moving averages here. I do the 21, the 50, the 100, and the 200, but those are good enough moving averages I like using on both long-term time frames and the short-term time frames. And sure enough, when I trade and I see assets go up and down in price here, they do respect these moving averages. So I do use the moving averages. I also do the indicators below with the RSI, the MACD, if I can get that to show up here. But yeah, the MACD indicator here. And I also use Market Cypher B as some of my favorite indicators here. But I also use other templates here where I can do like the stochastic RSI, right? You probably haven't seen me use the stochastic RSI in a while here. But yeah, I also use the stochastic RSI every now and then to make my trades and my investment decisions here. Currently right now, I actually am trading oil. If you guys want to take a look at that, we'll take a look at it real quick here. I'm actually doing pretty well in my oil trades here. I have 7 contracts of oil here on Coinbase Exchange. The contracts expire March 19th of 2026. A notional value of about $4,600. And right now I got take profit at $95. It's just an idea here. Stop loss at 57 bucks, and I'm up about $294 on those oil contracts. And oil, we know, was up what, 2% today. I think it was up like 4% at one point. So I think oil could be a play to be made here going into this weekend and next week, especially if they keep talking about Trump is ready to pull the trigger and actually try to do a military intervention in Iran here. But yeah, this is a Coinbase Exchange here, guys. You can actually trade oil here on Coinbase. Let me just show you real quick here. There are other assets you could trade. You could trade silver, gold. You can still trade Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana. They got copper futures here, platinum, natural gas, Bitcoin Cash, Link. I mean, you can still trade crypto on Coinbase, but you can also trade some of these other things like natural gas and platinum, oil, copper, gold, and silver. All right, which I don't think you could do on all the cryptocurrency exchanges. I think other cryptocurrency exchanges you could trade gold and silver on like MEXC and WEEX, which I'm also affiliated with. But I can't trade oil on MEXC and I can't trade oil on WEEX, so I got to come over here to Coinbase. Coinbase allows me to do it, so you might want to check that out here, guys. And if you guys do want to start trading oil, copper, some other commodities here using Coinbase Exchange, then what you can do is first of all, you make sure you're following me here on TikTok. But for my TikTok guys here, if you go over to TikTok, right, make sure you're following me, right, you'll see that there's a link here for a link tree. If you click on that link, which is at the the bottom of my bio here, it will take you over to my link tree, and my link tree looks like this. And here you can join WEEX and MEXC. I haven't really put up a Coinbase yet. Maybe I will. But if you click on the Meet Damien server here, and the Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join, you'll get all my links here to join the exchanges here. And here, this is the Meet Damien server. It's really cool to join here. You'll know when I go live. But over here on the left, we have a channel here for my referral links and bonuses. And if you scroll up here, you can join MEXC if you want. You can join WEEX, another exchange that I'm affiliated with here. And you can also join Coinbase here, and this is where you can get started with Coinbase and trading oil, copper, gold, silver, and also cryptocurrencies on Coinbase. So that's where you can find that link. And then if you do, I think they're still doing this deal here where you can get $30 in Bitcoin if you sign up using that link there for Coinbase. Okay. All right, let me get back into the chat here. I think I did a lot of talking there. Let me see what you guys have to say about the markets now. Emily is asking Netflix to 70 this month. I believe Emily wants to look at Netflix, so I'll go ahead and write that down as a request, a stock that we have to take a look at. Appreciate the request here, Emily. Emily also said, "What actually hoping for volatility to wick down to 53K before up." That would be nice. That'd be cool. And let's see. Let me see what else is. What else? Did I miss anything else? I don't think I did. Travis Belanger, thank you for following me here on TikTok. And then B Room says short or long. Well, I don't know what you're trying to short or long. You gotta tell me what asset. But you know, it's never that easy where I can be like, yeah, guys, we're gonna go short this, we're gonna go long this, because there's always a bullish and bearish case. We just gotta see which one is the stronger case, and then we gotta figure out, you know, does it make sense to actually go long or short based on what we're seeing on the charts. And sometimes it looks like it's going to be a good long, but the price action might have already got ahead of us, and even though a long should play out, you kind of have to wait for a pullback to get a good entry, or else, you know, you could end up longing and then getting into a bad trade where you're underwater for a while, and you know, no one wants to be underwater longer than they have to be. So sometimes, you know, the charts might say we should go long, and you just have to wait for a pullback to actually get a good entry. So it's never that easy to be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna short or long such and such asset. All right, let me go ahead and take a look at Netflix, because Emily did request that. We're now taking a look at, what is this? Netflix split has occurred. Netflix had a stock split here. Stock split occurred on Monday, the 17th of November. Okay, well, I don't know why they're trying to tell me that now, but thank you for letting us know that there was a stock split back in November of last year. All right, so right now Netflix is currently trading at $77. Looks like after market hours it traded at $77.08. Netflix is down 1.27% today. And wow, damn, Netflix taking a beating. What's up with this? I mean, some of these stocks are looking just as bad as some of these cryptocurrencies here. I think Netflix is still considered a technology stock, but I don't know if it's a technology stock. It's kind of like a consumer discretionary stock. They do label it as technology services, internet software services here. But I just know, like, Netflix is just a cash cow. They just rake in the dough. But what is up with Netflix here? Like, we topped out here June of last year at $134. Been making lower highs, and of course you're making lower lows to get down to those lower highs. And I just think, you know, just from what I've seen, when an asset goes into a bear market, you're definitely in a bear market when you go below the 200-day moving average. This is that red line right here. You came below it for the first time here in October. And then you try to back test it. You got a little bit above it here in November, the middle of November. And then you finally lost that 200-day moving average. And since then, 21 exponential moving average, this white line has been acting as resistance, putting you in this downtrend. And you've been trying to fight your way out of the downtrend, but not really doing a good enough fight here. If Netflix starts catching bids again, I would expect another rejection at this white line that's sitting at $81.50. Until we actually get above it and it's no longer a problem, I think $81.50 is as high as Netflix goes for now, until it can show us that you're trying to do something else here besides going down and to the right. Alright? But yeah, you clearly in a downtrend. You could call this like a descending channel, maybe a parallel channel. I don't know if you want to draw, if I can draw that out here, if you want to see that. But looks like we're kind of doing something like this here with Netflix, where you're in a descending channel here. And for the most part, the top of the channel is basically this white line. This 21 EMA keeps pushing you back down. I think what could happen here for Netflix is if we start catching bids here, we'll get rejected at the 21 EMA, on the top of this parallel channel here, somewhere at 81 bucks, come back down, and then we could go below this heart line. The heart line looks like it's sitting at like 76, 70, 75 bucks here. We could go below that and then come down further, make another lower low, hit the bottom of the channel somewhere at like 72 bucks here. So until, you know, Netflix does something different here, until it actually breaks out of this channel, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, I think you can still play it as a descending channel here on Netflix. And I think the high water mark here is going to be 81 bucks, that 21 EMA. And then the low water mark, we could go as low as $72 before we, you know, magically just bounce off for whatever reason. The shorts might take their profit at $72 here. But that's unfortunate. Netflix is just down and going to the right. That's not a good way to make money unless you're shorting it. Let's see, is there anything going on here with the RSI? Are we getting any bullish divergence that could give us hope that we're trying to bottom out here on Netflix? You are seeing here a low on January 22nd at 19 on the RSI, and then here on February 3rd at 21.53, and then here on February 12th, you got as low as 23 in the RSI. You got what could possibly be the beginning of bullish divergence. You might be getting some bullish divergence. Obviously, you can see that the price is making lower lows here. However, you're making higher lows here on the RSI. So there could be some potential bullish divergence. What I want to see next here for Netflix is I want to see either a double bottom or a higher low here, okay? Where Netflix could possibly do something like this, right? We go up to 81 bucks. Maybe we come down, but not come down and make a lower low. Maybe we come down, revisit where we're at right now at 77 bucks. Go back up and make a higher high. After making a higher low, guess what? You're now doing an uptrend. This is something we can work with being bullish here on Netflix. If we can start making a high and then a higher low and then another higher high, that's what I want to see here with Netflix. And if Netflix does something like this where we go high and we start making a higher low, I would try to buy. If we come and revisit 77 bucks, I would try to buy near $77. Put the stop loss below this potential higher low in the future. We're just game planning this out. If it does something like this, I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But if it does something like this, I would like to put the stop loss below the higher low. If it does create a higher low, and then if that's it, right? We should never go below. If we're gonna continue making higher lows and higher highs here, and make an uptrend, we should never go below this higher low here. That could happen here in the future at some point. Now, that's just an idea. Doesn't mean that Netflix is going to do that. Maybe Netflix actually does something like this, where instead of making a higher low, maybe we actually do come back down to what? How low do we get? $75.23. Maybe we do come back down to $75 here. And then we bounce off. And if Netflix does something like that, then that's basically a double bottom. And guess what? Double bottom has literally bottom in its name. You bottom out. And then what you can do is you can hopefully buy in here like at $75, $76. Put your stop loss below $75. Maybe at 74, 73 if you want to keep it tight. Maybe 70 bucks if you want to make it a little bit looser for stop loss. But if you do something like this where you make it a double bottom, then guess what? You basically call it the bottom for Netflix. And that little double bottom that it could be making here. And you should be fine and dandy to see higher prices and pat yourself on the shoulder or the back here that you caught the double bottom on Netflix. And then, you know, if Netflix does continue being bullish, like, you know, where we're gonna go next after that, well, let's see what the targets might be to the upside. There's a 50-day moving average at 100 bucks here. Maybe that's as high as Netflix goes initially before it gets rejected. Or maybe we actually do come to the 200-day moving average at $111. That's that red line right there. Bless me. Whew. I did some swimming earlier this afternoon in a swimming pool, and I think I kind of cleared up my sinuses a little bit by swimming in the pool. So, excuse me for sneezing there on you guys, but Hey, I had sneezed there. Jay is in the chat. Jay says Iran, and Jay says you're still in Peru chilling, and then Jay says he wants to take a look at APLD as well. Okay, and then Matty Ghost, did you put a request for AVAX? You spelled AVAV. I don't know if that's what you wanted to look at. AVAV, or is it AVAX for AVAX? Let me know, Matty Ghost. I'm a little bit confused there. But we do have Jay asking for Iran here. And then APLD. And thank you, TODD, for following me here on TikTok. We got Elvis is in the chat. Elvis says 50K. I think Elvis thinks Bitcoin's going to 50K. And thank you, Emily, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. All right. Got Jay Shroud here. Jay Shroud is also following me here on TikTok. Thank you for following me here. And then we got another guy here that followed me. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you for following me as well. All right. L the Navigente says, why is it so low, and is it good to invest right now? Or wait, are you talking about Bitcoin, or are you talking about... Well, I mean, we just looked at Robinhood and Netflix. They're both look like they're trying to bottom out here. And then El Navigente says, what is the graph website that I'm using? I'm actually using tradingview.com. www.tradingview.com. If you join me here on the Meet Damien Discord, which is free to join, the link is in the bio, or you can find it here. And if you're having a hard time clicking that link for the Discord, you can actually click the link tree, and the link tree will take you to here, where you can click on the this link here for the Meet Damien Discord. And there you can go on to the Discord and go over here to the referral links and bonuses. And I do have a discount code here for TradingView. If you want to start using TradingView, you could get like $15 off your subscription here if you use this link here for TradingView. Alrighty, okay. Alright, so I'm still waiting for Matty Ghost to tell me about what he was asking me there. He said AVAV. I don't know if that's a crypto or a stock, or if he wanted, or some misspelling of AVAX. I have no idea. But you gotta let me know, Matty Ghost. But I am gonna help out Jay here. Jay wants to look at IREN, so let's go ahead and look at IREN now. So we're going to IREN. It's another stock on the stock market, currently trading on the NASDAQ at $43.29, up 2.88% today. And what is IREN doing? IREN is trying to respect the 100-day moving average. This blue line here, this light blue line, acting as support for now for IREN. IREN at 43 bucks here. We kind of lost it a little bit here. On Friday, February 6th, got as low as like 36 bucks. But I mean, it looks like you're trying to stay above this 100-day moving average. That's good to see. Now, can we start catching some bids here and go up to some higher prices here, where we could possibly get a rejection at that 50-day moving average at $50.50? That's that green line right there. And you also got the 21 EMA at 48 bucks. I think 48, 50 bucks could push us back down initially here. On IREN, we'll see. Does IREN actually have the momentum to go to higher prices here? We'll look at the MACD indicator here and maybe look at the money flow. Oh, I gotta change my indicators here. Let me see. I got my I need my money flow and my MACD, please. Por favor. Gracias. All right. So the MACD. What is MACD doing here on IREN? Selling pressure problem here. The first week of February, but now you can see selling pressure kind of dying down. If it continues dying down, you'll get a MACD crossover to the upside. If you see that crossover where this blue line goes above the orange line, kind of like it did here back in December of last year, you'll start seeing the green buying pressure candles showing up here, and you'll start seeing higher prices for IREN, right? You saw those higher prices here for IREN back here in January after you got that MACD crossover to the upside. So that's what you're pretty much hoping for. If you see that MACD crossover to the upside, you're going to see higher prices here for IREN. Alright, so keep your fingers crossed for that. And then here on Market Cipher B, you got money flows in the negative. We know that, you know, Iran's been struggling the last couple of weeks here. However, this is what I'm seeing here with Iran's money flow in the daily time frame. You're seeing that the money flow is curving up to the upside here. You kind of see that. I don't know if you're able to see that, but I can see that the money flow is starting to curve up here. And then you got a green buy dot that just came in, and it came in today saying that you should be buying Iran today because you might be having a good few days ahead of you. At least, you know, tomorrow the stock market's trading, so maybe tomorrow is going to be a good day for Iran. So keep that in mind here. You got that going on here on the momentum indicators here. So I think Iran does want to go up to higher prices, but you just never know. You know, the trend looks like it's trying to trend upwards, but we could just go down. And if we do go down, levels below us, you would think this 200-day moving average should provide support here. This red line is sitting at $34.20. I would look for $34.20 as an area where you can scoop up some cheaper Iran if that's what you want to do here. Matty Ghost is back in the chat here. Matty Ghost says he wants me to take a look at AeroVironment, AVAV. It's an autonomous drone company. Okay. So you guys are just interested in talking about stocks today. No one wants to look at cryptocurrencies anymore. That's okay. That's okay. I get it. Sometimes it can be a little painful, especially when the cryptos are in a bear market. It's a little bit tough to get excited about cryptos. So let's see. How's Bitcoin doing right now? It's sitting at 66,800. Okay. I think I had a short on Bitcoin. But my short is a little bit underwater right now. But if Bitcoin keeps going down some more, I'll be back to break even. I think I shorted, what did I short? I think I shorted Bitcoin at 66,700, so it's a little bit underwater right now on my short. Can't win them all. But then again, we're not done playing the game either because I'm still in the short. I haven't been stopped out yet. Alright, so we'll take a look at AVAV for my buddy, Matty Ghost. AeroVironment, a drone company. How did you hear about this one? Let's see what... I'm a little bit curious. This one is new to me. I am a aviation enthusiast. If you guys look at my profile picture, you see me in the red shirt with my pilot headset on. I actually do fly airplanes. So anything aviation related actually piques my curiosity here. So let's see. AeroVironment engages in the design, development, and production of multi-domain robotic systems and related services for government agencies and businesses. It operates through the following business segments: uncrewed systems, loitering munitions, and McGreedy work. Okay, so if they're doing like munitions, that probably means they're involved with the military here. Okay. So you guys can just read up on this on your own time here, but it looks like the company, some of the important details is the company was founded in July of 1971 and is headquartered in Arlington, Virginia, right next to Washington, D.C., where they can go get those military government contracts. Okay. Alrighty. This stock is trading at $281.67. It's actually up a little bit after market hours here at $282.63. You actually had a good day today. You went up 16 bucks. You're up 6%. Oh, I can see this already. Can you spot this, Matty Ghost? I'm pretty sure you already spotted this yourself. But I can see a double bottom here on AVAV. So it looks like we bottom here on Thursday, February 5th at 234. And then another bottom here at 233.78 and February 12th. In order for it to be a double bottom, there are some qualifications here. You can look it up on Investopedia. That's where I get this definition from. But it has to be within 1 to 3% from the bottoms. The bottoms have to be 1 to 3% away from each other. So, you know, if you ever need to draw it out, you just go here to info line. And you can just draw out, you know, where the bottoms are at. And yeah, that's within 1% of each other. So it qualifies as a double bottom. If this is going to qualify as a double bottom, if the double bottom actually plays out, you measure from where the bottoms are at to the top and between the two bottoms. Alright, and then you take this measure move. And you put it on top of the top in between the two bottoms here. And it gives you an idea as like how high this thing could possibly go if it's going to play out to the upside. It's showing that we could see $321 here, that blue number there, for AVAV here, which I think puts you right above this 50-day moving average. So this thing could possibly come up to the 50-day moving average at 309.70, maybe pop its head above it a little bit more, get up to that 323 level before it comes down. Okay, so, or did I say 323? I meant to say 321. 321.23. But somewhere in this zone is where I think you should take some profits on your AVAV if that's what you got. Or if you got losses, maybe you can de-risk and take a little bit off the table when you get up to this 50-day moving average. But nice to see that AVAV is getting above the 2-day moving average. You were playing with fire here by losing it. You kind of back tested it here. And then you came back up, and this could have been another back test, but you actually punched through it today. So you're doing what you need to do to save your butt here on AVAV. Okay. All right. Do we have momentum to go up to higher prices? Let's take a look at the momentum indicators. I will start with market cipher B. Why not? Money flow has been a problem here since the end of January, going into February here. But you see that money flow is steadily increasing here. Got a green buy dot. And also the momentum, this blue stuff here, is also creeping up or curving up. So it looks like it wants to go higher. Okay, according to the market cipher B indicator here and the money flow. And then, oh, look at this. All right. I like what I'm seeing here. Okay, this is what I want to see with Iran. Iran hasn't done it yet, but I want to see a MACD crossover to the upside. You're getting that today. And look what happens when you get that MACD crossover, where that blue line crosses the orange line to the upside. You're starting to get those green buying pressure candles, those coveted, beautiful green buying pressure candles here. And this shows that we could probably see higher prices here for AVAV. So I think you might have found a good one here, Matty Ghost. And I would be interested in putting some money to work. And if you already have money to work, I mean, that's good. But if you have more money that you want to put to work, you could try to put some more money to work here on AVAV and see if it actually does climb up to that, you know, target that I gave you, right? That 50-day moving average at 309. Or even this double bottom target at 321. Maybe you could try to take profit there, my good friend. Oh man, why is my nose running? I don't know why my nose is running. Oh, we got RMJ here, and TikTok is watching me from Guyana. Hopefully I said that right. Guyana in the Caribbean. We got an international audience here, guys. Appreciate you guys checking me out here on the Meet Damien TikTok. Don't forget to smash the like button. All you gotta do is double tap your screen here on TikTok, and that's how you send the likes here. We're at like 2,200 likes here on TikTok. Let's see if we can get up to like 3,000. I know you guys can get me up to 3,000. By the time I'm done with this live stream, I should at least see 3,000 or close to 3,000. But I appreciate you guys smashing that like button. Same thing for my YouTube guys. All you gotta do is click that like button. And if you're new to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Meet Damien channel. You'll see me go live Monday through Fridays, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. I did have a busy week, and I apologize. I wasn't able to live stream yesterday. I was painting an apartment unit that I own, getting it rent ready, getting it ready for the 1st of March, so that way I can get some new tenants in there. But yeah, I apologize for that. But at the same time, I am a busy guy, and I am a businessman, and that's what I do. And yeah, maybe I could have got someone to do it, but I did say myself, all I had to do was pay for the paint, and I painted it myself yesterday. So I spent yesterday afternoon doing that when I normally go live in the afternoons here in evening time. And yeah, I want to give you guys the best live streams I can, and I wouldn't have been able to give you a good live stream yesterday with the traveling and the work that I had to do yesterday. We got someone here asking for Solana, for a prediction for Solana. We could take a look at Solana. I want to squeeze in Solana, Jay Shareem, or I should just call you Jay. I want to squeeze in Solana, and then we'll look at APLD here. Okay. All right. So I gave you guys AVAV, the analysis here. Upside targets. I kind of gave you the upside target. I didn't really do downside targets. Just stay above your double bottom, which I could clearly see on the chart here. Don't go lower than 233. Maybe you can put that as your stop loss. But 233, yeah. If we go lower than that, then there might be something wrong here with AVAV, especially after it made a double bottom. If it's not going to go and create a double bottom off of this, then what? Maybe we do a triple bottom. I don't know, but if it goes lower than that double bottom area, then there might be something wrong. And do you want to stick around to find out? Probably not. That's why I put my stop loss at 233 here for AVAV. All right, we'll take a look at Solana, and then we'll go look at APLD here. Back to cryptocurrency world here. We got Solana currently trading at $82.26. Up slightly today, barely, up 0.86%. And what do we got here? I'm gonna get rid of this previous chart work here, but what do we got here for Solana? I mean, Solana it's in the same boat as Bitcoin and all the other high market cryptocurrency coins out there. You're kind of creating what could be considered a bear flag, a big giant bear flag. I know you probably don't want to hear that if you're bullish, but let me give you the downside bearish case here first before we try to create a bullish case here for Solana. But if this is a bear flag, right, and where do I want to measure it from? You want to take it from like the beginning of this other bear flag here? Yeah, I'll take it from there to there. Alright, so if this is a bear flag, you got the flagpole, you got the flag, okay? You take the flagpole, which is your measure move, you put it up to like where we could break down out of Solana at 82 bucks here. Right there. Oh man. Oh god. Oh no. This bear flag says that Solana could go down to $12. Yikes, that blue number right there. I find that hard to believe that Solana could do that. But Solana has been that low. It was that low during the FTX bankruptcy and back in the bear market of 2022. So Solana could go down there. It could, but I don't know. Is that likely? Oh, that makes me want to vomit. I don't own Solana. I actually had Solana. I actually had Solana was my biggest altcoin that I bought back in 2022. I bought Solana at like 13, 16, and 20 bucks. My last major purchase was at like $33 when Solana was trading at $33 in October of 2023. Yeah, around this area. So I, bought Solana there, and then I sold it at 200 bucks back in like March of 2024, and I sold it again at 200 and 230 bucks in 2025. So I like Solana. It did me well. It did me well. I was able to benefit from Solana, but for Solana to go back to like 20 bucks or below 20 bucks again, oh my god. I'll be a buyer, yeah, if it does do that. But man, oh man, that would just, I mean, what's the point? Like if these cryptocurrencies are not able to sustain, higher prices, and they go right back to where they were like 4 years ago, what's the whole point of being in crypto if these things are not going to hold their value? All right, but that's just an idea. That's not saying that's actually going to happen here for Solana, but it could. Let's put in the VRVP indicator here. Levels that I was looking for using the VRVP indicator, this indicator off to the right, was you got a high volume node here at 57 bucks. That could be a downside target for Solana. And then you got another high volume node here at 74, 75 bucks. I already marked this on the chart. Those are those red numbers there. I think those are some targets that we'll see here in the bear market. If cryptocurrencies are going to continue being in the bear market, I think $74 and $57 is where Solana could get some support, and we could see Solana at those levels. And that's basically the levels that Solana was trading at back here in 2023, in like November of 2023. It was trading at like $57. So, and there was some sideways trading in that area. So I think that's why Solana could get some support at the level. But could it go lower than 57 bucks? I mean, according to the VRVP indicator, there's some support here at 42 bucks. There's more support here at $23. More support here at $19. Man, you don't really have anything here at 12 bucks, but man, I don't know. I think this bear flag target is just a little bit excessive. And I haven't even talked about the upside targets here on Solana. Let me go ahead and restart the music because I don't hear any music here. Okay. We got the music back up and running again. Man, if Solana is not going to be bearish, right? If we are going to climb up higher prices here on Solana, where could we go? All right. Well, using this BRVP indicator still, some high volume here at $100 to like $104. I think that's like a psychological target, but you can also see that there's some sideways trading here towards the end of January going into February. Whoever thought they were buying a dip here and buying Solana at $100, buying the dip, they're probably like, man. I mean, look at this. They already had their scare. They saw after they bought Solana at $100, they saw Solana go down to $67 here. So they already got scared out of their minds here with Solana. I think if Solana does go back up to $100, whoever thought they bought the dip at $100 is probably going to want to try to break even. So I would take profit at $100 along with that person who just got scared the crap out of them when they saw Solana drop 30% on them. Okay, like a few days after they bought. Okay, so I would try to take some profit at $100. But then also we got a value area low above us, this white line at $125, and you can see that there was some sideways trading here at about $125. I think that's where Solana could get some support. I'm sorry, not support. Could get some resistance because you're below that price right there. I think there could be some resistance at $125. So you got $100 to like $125 is probably where you should click the sell button. Not financial advice, but that's what I would start trying to take some profit on Solana if you got that profit. We got Abe in the chat here. Abe says, hey Damien, sorry, just joining, got in late, taking a lunch break right now at work. So what's the bias for Bitcoin? What's your take? Bitcoin is slowly climbing up to higher prices here. As we know, and you can kind of see it here with Solana as well, creating the potential bear flag. I do gotta look at this other request here for Jay. Jay did ask about APLD, but you did say Bitcoin. We did look at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is kind of like in this pennant here, which is part of a possible bear flag here. And I think Bitcoin needs to get past 70,900. That's the white line. That's 21 EMA. And then we could jump up to 78K and have a little bit of problem at 78K before we try to visit 84K. And I did say that, you know, Bitcoin is looking solid because you got this MACD crossover to the upside here. That happened on Valentine's Day. Okay. And you're getting some green buying pressure, but you know the green buying pressure candles, they're just not strong and vigorous. It's like, nothing really to write home to mom about. Okay, but I mean, as long as you continue getting green buying pressure candles, Bitcoin will slowly march its way up to higher prices. But this is just not as strong as you saw back here in January when we saw Bitcoin climb up to 97K. All right, and then also like back here in December where Bitcoin was stopping the bleeding. Okay. You're just not getting that strong buying pressure yet. So we shall see. We shall see. I think everybody's up in the air about, you know, is Bitcoin going to climb up to 80K, or are we going to revisit 60K all over again, or lower than that? Let me go ahead and take a look at APLD here for Jay. Jay says, once we hit a bull run, you're going to be partying on your Solana. You said your Solana keeps staking and growing in numbers. I think Solana's crypto worth, you know, getting into and staying in, especially in the bear market. It might not be going up in price, but at least you're getting paid with those staking rewards. So you're getting paid to wait until the next bull market. So that's the cool thing about Solana. Ethereum also has staking rewards as well, but I think Solana pays a little bit more than Ethereum. I think Cardano also has as well, but you don't get paid as much as you do with Solana. So I think Solana is just the way to go if you're gonna do the if you're gonna just wait until the next bull market here. F Fianto, thank you for sending me the heart me here on TikTok. And Raf Khalid says, can I check out XRP? We'll take a look at XRP after I look at this one here, APLD, for my buddy Jay here. Thank you, Leafoff, for following me here on TikTok, and thank you, Rick, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. What Sus says, before Solana, you asked if I could check on River, if it's going to be going back up. All right, so we'll take a look at River as well. Can I go ahead and look at River after we look at the XRP? That's what I plan on doing right here. Where did my music go? It just got quiet here. Oh, there's the music. All right. All right, so Applied Digital Corporation, this is a stock that's trading on the NASDAQ, currently trading at $31.53, down 1.1% today. We have looked at this asset before. We had previous chart work. I think I was charting a potential ascending triangle here on Applied Digital, which it wasn't able to maintain, and we just lost it. So I'll go ahead and get rid of this. That was an idea, but it didn't play out. It actually broke down to the downside at ascending triangle. So that just goes to show that it could be bullish. Like an ascending triangle is bullish, doesn't mean that it's actually going to break out to the upside. All right. So what do we got here? APLD. Looks like you're trading at some interesting areas here. You do got the golden pocket here. The 618 and the 65 golden pocket between $30 and $30.87. Looks like you're bouncing off of those levels there, and you're also bouncing off this green line, this 50-day moving average, sitting at $30.52. So this is a very strong support area that you would expect us to bounce off. And if we do bounce off, we'll probably come up to the 786 retracement at $34.53. I don't know if you can see that, but that's that blue number right there. 34.53 is your upside target or resistance here until you can punch through it. If you punch through it, it could be a 21 EMA that could provide resistance at 35 bucks, but then if you punch through that, we're expecting at least coming up to like $40 here as your next upside target here for APLD. Now this is interesting. We did go up a little bit higher than $40. We actually went up to as high as like 42.27. Do I need to readjust this? Oh shit, I just did that. No. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm wondering if I need to readjust this, because I drew this Fibonacci from like $15, which was like the low back here in September of last year. And I drew it all the way up to $40 here, but I might have to readjust it at 42 bucks to get exact numbers that I want. Alright, so there we go. So I just redrew that Fibonacci there. Let me just go ahead and lock that so I don't. But still, like, you're in between that golden pocket and you got the 50-day moving average, and I still think the upside target's going to be $36 for now. And then we'll see if we can revisit $42 to the upside. Now to the downside, there is, if we lose this 50-day moving average, I like using the Fibonacci and getting some confluence off the Fibonacci moving average. Right now you got a 100-day moving average at $25.56. Right above the 0.382 at 24.40. So I think 24 and 25 bucks is going to be support in the near term here. Oh no. I got my mortgage guy giving me a call here. I'm in the process of doing a refinance, guys. I might have to take this phone call real quick. Let me go ahead and answer this, and then I'll put this on mute. Let's see. I'm back with you guys. I had to take a phone call. That was my mortgage guy. I'm about to do a refinance on my house. So, yeah, he gave me the clear to close, and we're just trying to figure out when we're actually gonna close on the refinance here. Alrighty. Let's see. Trying to catch up on the chat. Where did we leave off here? We were looking at APLD, and I said downside targets could be like 24, 25 bucks here from what I'm seeing with moving average and the Fibonacci. I want to move on from APLD. We'll take a look at XRP, and we'll take a look at River. And then my YouTube guys, just let me know. Are you able to hear me? I think I turned the mic back on, but let me know if I might have messed up on that. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to check the volume right now. Trying to catch up on the chat. Alright. Yeah, I can hear myself. Alright, you're welcome, Jay. You're welcome. Don't forget to smash that like button and also share the live stream with one of your friends that's also interested in stocks and could benefit from this analysis here. Even if you don't think they could benefit from analysis, or if you don't think they're interested in stocks, just send it anyways. You know, you never know. Maybe they never got a chance to talk to you about stocks, and you could start a conversation with one of your friends about investing in stocks here that you didn't even know that they might be interested. All you gotta do is just share the video with them, and you could start a conversation with them about it. All right. Anyways, we're looking at XRP currently trading at $1.39, down 1.5%. And let's see what do we got here for XRP. XRP, I was charting the potential of XRP being in the descending channel here, even though we kind of had like this little out of it. We came right back into it, the descending channel, and we stayed in this descending channel. We actually stayed into it until Saturday, Valentine's Day. We caught some bids. We caught some love here from XRP. XRP went up 7% on Valentine's Day. Got out of the descending channel here. However, still the problem for XRP is getting above this 21 EMA. Alright, you got above it here on Sunday, which was nice to see, but you did it for less than 1 day, and you couldn't even stay above it during the close. You closed below that 21 EMA, and look, this white line, this 21 EMA, is still acting as a problem here. Yesterday, you came up to that 21 EMA at $1.49, and that was like the high water mark here for XRP. Couldn't go higher than the 21 EMA. Right now, that 21 EMA is sitting at $1.47. Can XRP get up that high and actually stay above the 21 EMA? If they can do that, then we can start talking about maybe XRP going up to the 50-day moving average at $1.91 right now, that green line right there. Okay? But until this 21 EMA is not a problem, it's going to be a problem. Okay? It's going to be a problem until it's no longer a problem here. And once it's not a problem here, then we can start talking about maybe can XRP shoot up for $1.91. I think $1.91 puts you at like right where we were trading at sideways here in December. We were at like $1.90 on XRP, and also here in January we're at $1.90. So I think $1.90 is the target to the upside for XRP. Not $2. $2 would be just too easy, right? That's a psychological number. Everybody's probably waiting for XRP to go to $2, but I think $1.90 is where XRP could get a reaction or a rejection off of this 50-day moving average if we're going to be bullish here in XRP. Now, if XRP is going to be bearish, I mean, how much further down could we go? Well, we already seen that $1.11 was near that acted as support. I think that could act as support one more time here. The reason why I got $1.11 marked off on the chart is I believe that was an area that we were trading at sideways here. Yeah, we were trading sideways here in November of 2024. We were trading at $1.11. Okay, that's gonna be your support for now until you lose it. If you lose that $1.11, then the next target to the downside is some people's favorite number here, 69. You'll be heading to 69 cents here, where you actually were trading sideways here back here in November 2024 for XRP. I think some people have also said like 50 cents. Because XRP was trading at 50 cents for like the longest time back in 2024, going into like 2023 here. But let's see what the VRVP has to say. You'll see why I picked these numbers here. I don't just pick them out of my butt here. I actually look at the VRVP indicator. That gives me ideas like what the levels we should be looking for here. And yeah, right now we are at a high volume node here between $1.40 and $1.49. And if we lose that, then there's a high volume node here at $1.11. I already marked down the chart here. And then there is a high volume node here at 69 cents, and then also some more high volume here at 53 cents. So maybe I'll mark down the chart as well here for XRP. If we do go down to lower prices, the bear market low could be 53 cents all over again, like we saw 2 years ago for XRP. I think I like, yeah, 53 right there. And I'll go ahead and lock that in. So you got some levels, some support levels below you here for XRP. And like I said, upside target, got to get past that white line, that $1.47 line here, that 21 EMA. And then of course we're going to see how we handle ourselves when we get up to $1.90. You see there's a high volume node here. You know, you got this blue line, this point of control between $1.87 and you got a high volume node here at $1.92. So yeah, when we get to the $1.90 area, that's going to be a tough area for XRP to go to higher prices here. We're going to probably chill out there for a little bit before we do go to higher prices on XRP. Alright. Jay says we are tired of winning. And looks like we got to meet Damien here on TikTok. I'm going to have to probably block that person. You're not allowed to be in TikTok here on my lives. Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and... Someone trying to pretend to be me here on TikTok. Yeah, let's see. Oh, it won't let me, Nah, there's gotta be a way. Yeah, that's so weird. That is so weird. So what, did I like my own live here? I don't get it. Anyways, Bernardo GZZ says, what do I think about Ethereum? And Huddle, thank you for following me here on TikTok. What do I think about Ethereum? Ethereum is probably going to do whatever Bitcoin is doing. They're pretty much like brothers in arms here. If one goes down, the other one's going to go down with it. Okay. If Bitcoin starts climbing up to higher prices, so will Ethereum. Unless it's like something coin specific, related to Ethereum. I think Ethereum's going to do whatever Bitcoin does. So you can just follow Bitcoin and you'll know what exactly Ethereum's going to do next. Unless you want me to look at the charts for Ethereum. But you didn't really say that. You just asked me for my thoughts on Ethereum. Alright, let me see. We got somebody here. Montero says, that's the fib extension of retrace. Why do I have it in default? I don't know what you're talking about. For, are you talking about XRP? I don't even have a Fibonacci on XRP, but I was looking at a Fibonacci for... I was looking at APLD Fibonacci, yeah. See, Bernardo says yes. Oh, you want me to do TA on Ethereum? Alright, well, we do have another request before that. We gotta take a look at River. And then we'll take a look at Ethereum. So let me keep it moving here. We'll look at River, and then we'll look at Ethereum. Alright, River. Currently trading at $8.15. Up slightly today. But I think this is after we had a pretty bad week so far for River. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this previous shot work. And I'll get rid of the VRVP indicator for now. So I did mark off a level that I thought was pretty important for River to stay above. That was $12 here. It has acted as support in the past. Support back here in February. And I was thinking it was worth taking a long on River. As long as River stays above, you know, well, this last low here at 11.56. I think I had a stop loss at 11.50, and I actually played a long here on River, and then I got knocked out of that long here. And I think everybody got knocked out of their longs here because here on Tuesday, couple of days ago, River lost like 24%, dropped down to like $8.88 when it was trading as high as like 13 bucks. So what the hell, River? Okay, and then you had another bad day here yesterday, went down another 17%, and now here we are, you know, trading down at $8.16, but we got as low as $7.70 here on River. Is this a previous wick low here? Let's see, previous wick low took us down to like 705 here on January 1st. Now we haven't really gone down to that previous wick low, but so where could River get some support? I'm going to turn that VRVP indicator here, and you'll see where I think the support can be for River. Right now there's some volume here at $8.33. But if $8 doesn't hold up here, then we could drop on down. There's some volume here at 43, but there's also the majority of the volume is going to be here at $3. There's a blue line here, $3.61. I don't know why I got 317 marked there. I think maybe last time I looked at it, it was showing 317, but now it's saying like 369 or 361 is where this support's supposed to be. So let me just move that up here. But anyway, somewhere around like in the mid threes is where River could get some support finally. We might drop all the way down there for a bear market low on River before we get a bounce off that level. You know, $3.15 was an area that we were trading here back in November. Got a little bit of support here in December of last year. So I think that's where we have to go if we're going to continue being bearish here on River. Now, is River getting any hope or signs of stopping the bleeding here? MACD, can you show us that the bleeding is going to stop here? Selling pressure was pretty violent first week of February, and then it started dying off here on the selling pressure, and then it started increasing again here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like, what the hell? All right. So this is not showing us that the bleeding is stopping. It's showing that the bleeding is slowing down, but it's not stopping. Market Cipher B. What do we got here on Market Cipher B? Money flow. Obviously in the negative here the first week of February here. Then here around like Valentine's Day, you started seeing money flow go into the green. And then it's back in the red again. So like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't know. Probably stay away from River. It might not be done going down yet, and I think, you know, low three and then the mid threes, $3.50 is where River could head next. Yeah, from what I'm seeing here. That's where the previous support, the support zone for a River is going to be at. It's like between 350 to like $4 or $5 here. So yeah, if you're in a short, your short might still play out here on River. Thank you, Rafi Khalid, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. All right, and no one says River is still inflational, even though it's a good project. There are tokens being unlocked. Yeah, I was watching another content creator, and they were showing that there's a lot of tokens on a lot of cryptocurrencies, not just River, that are going to get unlocked in the month of March. So maybe the month of March is going to be really bad for crypto, because there's going to be a lot of token unlocks, and that's from like previous investors and seed investors, angel investors, that are finally going to be able to unlock their tokens and then sell them on the market. And some of them are getting those tokens for free, so they can sell it at any price and still make money. So we gotta watch out for the month of March, because it's not just River, but there's going to be a lot of cryptocurrencies started like a year ago, 2 years ago. And because they started 2 years ago, like these angel investors, these institutional investors, these venture capitalists are going to finally be able to sell their stake in all these coins, and they're going to be able to start doing that next month for a lot of crypto. So like, I'm thinking like March could be pretty bad for crypto. There's going to be too much inflation, too many coins coming onto the market. All right, let's move on to take a look at Ethereum here. And I think I might want to start finishing up the live stream there, guys. We've been live for almost like 2 hours now. Ethereum currently trading at $1,940, down to $14.94, down only 0.7%. Looking at the daily time frame here for Ethereum. And it looks almost similar to like XRP, where this 21 EMA is going to be a problem until it's no longer a problem. That 21 EMA is sitting at 2104. I think that's going to be a initial rejection area for Ethereum until it's not. But I would expect if Ethereum does climb up basically $200 from where it is right now, basically if it climbs up 10%, you could get knocked down. You could get knocked down if you come up to this 21 EMA right now. Okay. But if you don't get knocked down, then to the upside, and I already marked on the charts here, 27.45 and 28.23. You got the 50-day moving average at 28.50, so maybe $2,800 is where Ethereum climbs up to. We're gonna cast some bids out of nowhere here. That is a interesting upside target for Ethereum. And where do I get these numbers from? Well, if I turn on the VRVP indicator, which I've done, and I'll keep on doing, you got, you know, some volume nodes to look out for here. Let's see, as I let this thing readjust itself. There actually is a high volume node here. I don't know why I haven't marked this one on the chart, but there is one. The highest volume on the VRVP is showing here at 2540. Why I haven't marked that off, I have no idea. Maybe I just missed it. But that is a high volume node there that we have to pay attention to. So 2550 is probably the next target to the upside, besides 2800. 2800 and 2700 does have high volume there as well. But the most volume is at $2,500 here. $2,500 here for Ethereum. And that's basically all the sideways trading that you did here in the month of May and June for Ethereum. Whoever bought here is underwater, and they're probably going to want to sell and break even if we do come up to $2,500. Just keep that in mind. All right. But yeah, let's see. Ethereum. I gave you upside targets, right? 25, 27, 28. Downside targets for Ethereum. There is some volume here at $1,800. You can see a little bit of volume node here. And I do got 1650 marked off, but I have to zoom out to get that data to show that, you know, that's an interesting area here for Ethereum. As I start to zoom out some more, let it readjust itself. Actually, that's all I'm getting right now. All right, so you can see here that there is high volume here at 1650 here for Ethereum. And then I have to scroll all the way back to like 2022, and then you'll see that there is, yeah, there's also high volume here at 1207. So 1207, 1650, and 1822 are your downside targets for Ethereum using the VRVP indicator. And then upside targets, of course, 2500, 27, and 2800. Now, what is Ethereum going to do next? You probably want to know, like, what is it going to do next? Is it actually going to go down, or is it going to go up? We got to look at the momentum indicators to try to figure that out. Momentum indicators, what are they showing here in the daily time frame? Market set B is showing that money flow is in the negative and is creeping up to higher prices here, or going up to higher levels here. It looks like it wants to go up to higher prices. You're just not getting that vigorous punch through where you're getting some green. You're not getting. Last time you had green on the money flow was back in January here for Ethereum. You don't have green yet here on the daily time frame for the money flow. All right, and then here on MACD, the trend has been to the upside for higher prices here. You got a MACD crossover to the upside. That came around Valentine's Day was the day, huh? That was the day where a lot of these cryptos got some love. So the trend was to the upside here on the MACD, selling pressure turning to buying pressure, and it still is, you know, steadily increasing. It's not doing it in a vigorous fashion like we saw back here in January, but it's still Still buying pressure. So I think Ethereum does want to continue going up to higher prices here. I'm not seeing anything on the charts, at least not on the momentum indicators, that it's going to go down to lower prices here. However, we did get some red days here, so like, what the hell? I don't know. Momentum is not agreeing with the price action, or the price action is not agreeing with the momentum. The price action has been to the downside here, even though the MACD is showing buying pressure. So is there a little bit of divergence there? Is that what we're seeing here? I don't know. I think tomorrow is an important day. Tomorrow, a couple of things could happen tomorrow. We have PCE inflation report coming out. I think that's coming out early in the morning. If we still have inflation, or if inflation is getting worse, then that is going to be bad for cryptocurrencies and the stock market. If inflation is actually coming down, that could be what we need to actually see higher prices here for these cryptocurrencies. Right? And then also tomorrow, there's a possibility that the Supreme Court could rule Trump's tariffs illegal. And if they rule them illegal, that would actually be good for the markets, because that means people won't have to be spending that much money to buy things from overseas. And it's going to put more money in people's pocket, and that money should start trickling into crypto and the stock market if that's the case. So if they do rule it illegal, that would actually be good, at least temporarily, for crypto and stocks. If they don't rule them illegal, then I don't think it's going to cause the market to go down, but it's not going to help us go up, okay? If they just rule them that it's fine as is, that they don't need to do anything with tariffs, then it could just be a nothing burger for tomorrow. But if they do rule it as illegal, that would probably be a boon for crypto and stocks, in my opinion here. All right, Lang Fang says Bitcoin long. Jane X says, brother, what is that? Are you talking about the indicator off on the right? This is the VRVP indicator here. And if you're interested in learning more about the VRVP indicator here on my TikTok, I do have pinned to the top of the channel here. I got the VRVP indicator, which is a pretty popular video here. Let me just go ahead and refresh the page here real quick. Refresh. But yeah, don't forget to follow me if you haven't done so already here. Come join the 6,500 followers that I do got. But this VRVP indicator video is right here. If I click on it, it's a 16-minute video, so you watch it on your own time.
Guys, I am Damien.
But I show you how to
it's basically measuring how many people
how to use the VRVP indicator, levels. And I show you how to set it up and how I trade with it. So you might want to look at that video when you get a chance. It's pinned to the top of my channel there. I also got another video about the Fibonacci indicator. And I also got another video here, if you're brand new to investing and trading and looking at the charts. I show you how to read the charts here with this video here pinned to the top. That has 870 view. It's basically a video that explains, how to read a candlestick chart, how to set up the MACD indicator, how to read the MACD indicator, and how to read and set up the RSI and stochastic RSI indicator there. But that's also a good video to watch. But not as popular as that VRVP indicator, because I think the VRVP indicator, although it's very useful for beginners, it's also very useful to new and experienced traders who are like, wait a minute, what is this thing that actually works? And they watch it and they're like, wow, this is really good stuff here. So that's that VRVP indicator video. This is very popular and useful to any trader, whether you're new or if you've been doing it for a while. It's a good indicator to add to your charts, in my opinion. All right, let's see what you guys else are saying. Thank you, D2 Miami, for sharing the live. Appreciate that. And yeah, guys, we're gonna finish off by looking at Bitcoin. I'll give you my closing thoughts here on Bitcoin, and then that's gonna be it for today. We'll try to go live again tomorrow at 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. But Bitcoin currently trading at $66,930. Let me get rid of the VRVP for now. But Bitcoin to me looks like it's in a pennant, okay? And because we came into this pennant from from the top side, and now we're kind of like, you know, consolidating here in this pennant. This could be a bear flag, okay? And if this is a bear flag, you know, you usually just measure, you know, the impulse move down to where we came down to, and then we started flagging here. But yeah, you got the flag, and then you got the flagpole here. You take the flagpole, which is your measured move, you put it to like where Bitcoin could drop out of the bear flag here at 66K, and you got the target to the downside. It's saying that Bitcoin could go to 37K, that blue number right there, or 38K if you want it, 37.9K to be exact. Okay, that is a possibility here. That puts you below the targets I had at 51 and 43K. But let me just show you here on the monthly time frame. If I show you the moving averages here on the monthly time frame, there is a 50 moving average, a 50 simple moving average on the monthly time frame. This green line here, sitting at 37,600. Is that where Bitcoin needs to go before we finally bottom out here in the bear market? Is this going to be the bear market low for Bitcoin? It's an idea, and I've heard other people say 37, 38K is where Bitcoin is going to go for the bear market low here. So I think this is one of the reasons why they're saying that, and then also the bear flag that I just drew out here, right? This bear flag target, this flagpole is showing that we could come down to 37K if we basically did what we did here in late January going into February here. If we continue doing that violent price action to the downside, then yeah, we could see Bitcoin get cut in half again one more time. And that'd be very, very sad. Very, very sad. Okay, but what is Bitcoin doing right now? All right, let's go into the 1 hour time frame. This is my day trading time frame. It's not going to really tell us what's going to happen later on this year, but it should tell us like what could happen later on today going into tomorrow on the 1 hour time frame. And on the 1 hour time frame, yeah, Bitcoin obviously making lower highs here, okay? However, we're still making higher lows here on the 1 hour time frame. We saw the last higher low here, or the last low here at 65K, and I think what earlier on Thursday, what was that? Yeah, today's Thursday. Earlier this morning, we saw Bitcoin come down to 65,600. So still a higher low compared to what we did here last Thursday, last week. So the bulls are making the case that we're going to higher prices, but the bears are making the case that we're going to lower prices. And at some point, somebody's going to win the argument here, unless we just go sideways and then nobody wins, and we just stay at like 66 to 68, 69K, okay? But there should be some resolution coming if we're going to stay in this if we're going to stay in this pennant here. We should see some resolution by Monday, okay, where this thing will start to finish itself off, and we're either going to go up or we're going to go down. But I know that's not a good enough answer for some of you. Some of you want to know, are we going to go up or are we going to go down? And the only thing I can do for you guys is to look at the momentum indicators to see what is the momentum, at least on the 1 hour time frame. What is the momentum here on the MACD? And MACD is showing wishy-washy price action. There's no trend here. The highs are just as high as the last previous highs here, and the lows are just as low as the last previous low. This looks like we're just going to do some more sideways trading here. It looks like we're probably waiting for something big to happen here in crypto, whether that's going to be the inflation report tomorrow morning that could cause the market to go up or down, or we're going to wait for the Supreme Court to give us a ruling on Trump's tariffs, or then we got the situation in the Middle East, which seems to be getting worse, in my opinion here, where now they're bringing another aircraft carrier into the Middle East, and I don't think they just bring that aircraft carrier just to say hi and say kumbaya. I think there might be some action in the Middle East. We just don't know when, and I think because we don't know when, that's why we're going sideways here. We just don't have any clear direction here on Bitcoin. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't be looking for a long or a short on Bitcoin. I would just be, I mean, if you're in a long and you're profitable, stay in that long, move your stop loss in the profit if you can, or to break even. And if you're in a short and you're profiting on your short, I would just stay in the short, because at some point we're gonna get resolution, probably later on tomorrow, going to this weekend. Definitely by Monday there should be some resolution as to like whether Bitcoin is actually going to go up or down. But right now, like, the charts are showing to me that they're probably going to go sideways. And what I can do, just looking at the chart here on this pennant, is like, yeah, we kind of made a higher low here, and we're respecting this uptrend on Bitcoin. And I think, you know, I would be interested in taking a long right now and just putting a stop loss below the low for today. And then maybe we actually go up to higher prices going into tomorrow. And tomorrow, you know, if we do go up to higher prices, I would take profit at like 69,500, because we could possibly make a lower high than what we did here on Monday and Sunday earlier this week, and still stay in this pennant. So it's an idea, just an idea. Like right now, I'd probably be interested in a long, not a short on Bitcoin. Even though I am short on Bitcoin right now, because we could break out, we could break down to the downside here. Right now, just on the 1 hour time frame, there's a possibility of a double top here at 67k, 67,200. So I am trying to play this double top here, possibly, and maybe we come back down. And I don't know if this is going to play out to the downside. I am targeting 63k, but I might have to take a little bit of partial profit when we come down to this uptrend here at like 66k. I might have to take a little bit of profit on my short, move my stop loss to break even or into profit a little bit to cover trading fees, and we'll just have to see. But like right now, as far as like short-term time frames, you know, 1 hour time frame, I see buying pressure dying down. So if buying pressure continues dying down, then you should see Bitcoin go down probably to like 66k, maybe go into 65k. And then let's see what the 15-minute time frame is doing here. 15-minute time frame, buying pressure was coming in here late this morning, going into this afternoon. Then you got a MACD crossover to the downside, and you do have selling pressure showing up here. But selling pressure looks like, yeah, you know, it's trying to die off here. But if we don't go to lower prices here, the selling pressure will start dying off, and we might see higher prices. Otherwise, I know I'm not really giving you a clear answer, and sometimes in trading there is no clear answers here. But it looks like it's going to be just sideways for the most part. I think Bitcoin is going to be range bound between 66k and 69k, or yeah, 68k. It's not going to really be too much until we get something news-driven, related news that's going to actually cause Bitcoin to go one way or the other here. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this live stream. I am going to try to go live again tomorrow, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Be on the lookout for that. And yeah, CB, you're right. Lately, crypto does feel pretty boring. Basically because Bitcoin's just going sideways right now. I think I'm interested in oil right now. And I am in the long for oil. And I see oil climb up to higher prices as things continue to get iffy at best and worse over in the Middle East here, as far as like Iran and US goes. And you know, on the 1 hour time frame, you can see like, yeah, you know, oil is looking pretty damn bullish here, making higher highs than what it did on Wednesday. And MACD is not really showing too much. We're getting a little bit of selling pressure coming in here on oil. But yeah, I am currently trading oil here on Coinbase exchange, and I'm up a little bit, I believe. Yeah, I'm up $296 on my 7 contracts of oil here on Coinbase exchange. So I think oil's where it's at. You know, oil's where it's at until Bitcoin and crypto starts getting something interesting going on here. So yeah, I mean, there's other markets to trade besides crypto. You could do stocks, you could do oil, you could do gold. It's not just the crypto show here. And I'm not the crypto show here, even though I do talk about crypto a lot because it's fun to talk about. There's always something new and exciting going on. Right now, it's kind of boring in crypto right now. So yeah, I feel you on that crypto is being boring right now. But usually when it's boring, that's when you get a surprise. And I think the surprise could happen later on tomorrow going into this weekend. There could be some pleasant surprises, or there could be some nasty surprises, in my opinion here. So we shall see. So hold on to your butts. I think the boringness is going to come to an end later on this week and going into Monday. Alright? So yeah. Guys, don't forget to hit the follow button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, guys.